In this video, we're going to look at the good reasons why you would want to buy Oxygen elements for WooCommerce. We have Oxygen installed, Oxygen elements for WooCommerce, and one of the best reasons to buy it is because it's so easy. So let me show you just how easy it is to set up a template. So here we have a shop on our demo site here, and on our shop page, if we head over to the shop page, you'll see that there's no template installed, and we're simply presented with a standard single page layout for the template, and then followed by some recent posts. So to change that, we head over to Oxygen, and we're going to add a new template, and that template we'll call shop, and let's call that archive. And to show you just how easy it is, we inherit the header and footer elements from the main template. I'm then going to head over to archive, post type. I'm going to just type in the word product and select product. And then at the same time, I'm going to say for taxonomies, I'm going to go all and product, and I'm going to say all product categories. So now all the product categories will inherit this template, and the template priority I'm going to set to 1 so that it'll override the default page template. And I then say publish. That published, I head over to edit with Oxygen. Oxygen loaded, I'm going to add a section, and in that section I'm going to choose under WooCommerce, I'm going to select a product list. I'm then going to save, and now when I head over to the shop page on the website and I refresh that page, you'll see that the archive is loaded. So that's how simple it is to set up an archive page. Then we're going to have a look at a single product page. I click on single product, and what you'll see now is that it's inherited the default post template. To change that, we head over to Oxygen, we head back to the admin area, we're going to add a new template, and we're going to call this one shop single product, inherit the main template headers and footers. Now for singular, I'm simply going to select single products. Going to give that template a priority of 1 so that it takes priority over the default post template. If I'm looking at a single product, I hit publish. Now I go and edit that with Oxygen. Oxygen loaded, we add a section. We head over to WooCommerce, select product builder, select save. And now when I refresh the Beanie page, the product now displays in the product layout. So that was the default product layout, complete with related products. And that's how easy it is to set up an archive page and a single product page. But that's not where the reasons end. What we might find is it's great to have this layout, but perhaps we want to change the layout. So how easy is that? Well, head over to the structure page. We have a product builder. Let's go and add, let's say we want a 2-column layout. I'll go to basic, head over to columns, select a 2-column layout, and now you'll see that the shop elements no longer display, but my column element is inside the product builder. I can now quite easily now head over to WooCommerce and add product images on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side I can quite easily add a product title, a product excerpt, a product price, and then the product cart buttons. And maybe I also want to add the product metadata. So there we have the metadata for that product. And if I'm not happy with the look and the feel, I can simply go along to any one of those elements and choose a color. I can change the font weight. I can add some spacing. So you can see all the formatting elements that were available to me for normal content are also available to me for these items. And very quickly, I'm able to go and format all the elements inside this product listing. Maybe we want to make that a little bit bigger, make that bigger. Let's change that button. Simply click on the button. You'll see that the elements within the product builder are available, and I can head over to add to cart button. I can change the background color. I can change the hover color. So maybe make that slightly lighter. Slightly lighter. I can change the border radius. I can change the button typography. So yes, we like the color at white. The font weight, maybe we want to change the font weight. Maybe we want to change the size. There we can change the size. And we can apply those parameters. And just as quickly as we did that, save, I head over to the front end, and you'll see that the layout is suitably changed. And there you have the add to cart in red. Right, so you'll also see that here I'm looking at the beanie product, and in the store here I'm looking at the WordPress pennant. If I want to change that, simply head over to that search bar, type beanie, and you'll see that the product information gets updated, and there I have the beanie page for me to take a look at. Check that the formatting is right, and that's it. Now if I wanted to add related products, I could do that. I would simply go to add, go through my WooCommerce list, look for the related products, which is here, which is part of the product builder. Add related products. I don't want it in that column. I can simply then move it outside the column. And now you'll see that I have the related products. And if I want to, I can also add the product tabs. So add, and once again, just head over to these items, head over to the product tabs. In this case, it was added in the image. I can just drag that down to where I want it to display. And there we have the product tabs. And of course, if I want to go in and edit or format any of this information, I can. I can go into description. If I don't want the term description there, simply select 0 for the font size. If I'm not happy with the size and spacing, I can head over to content. I can change that to apply all. Now I have some spacing around to maybe center it a bit more. I can enter content border, content typography. Maybe we'll make that a little bit bigger. So whatever I want to format, I have full control now to format all of those items. What I can also do under the tab section is I can choose my tabs. So the normal tab, the active tab, maybe what I want to do with the active tab is make the text color red. Maybe I want to change the background color to a lighter red. And then simple as that, we have those changes take effect. I can head down to related products, and you'll see then that the menu here changes for related products. And I can say if I want to center that title, simply center the title. If I want to change anything in the layout, I can select center. I can choose 3 columns or 4 columns, 2 columns. Once again, I can change the sales badge. If I don't want the background color to be that blue, I can simply move in there, change it to red. I can edit the image borders. I can unset all the borders, or I can create a border. Maybe we want something in blue, and maybe we want 2 pixel width, make that solid. So there we have a much darker color to highlight. And if I want to, I can also change the radius. for each of those. So very easy to make that change. And if I want to, I can even set the box shadow. So maybe we'll just do something like that. And there we've highlighted the image in a very nice way. So it really has been that simple to format that related product section. And I really haven't had to work that hard to make it happen. If we look at links, let's make the link. So that's the title of the item. Maybe that's too big, go with a 20. If I want to change the price, I can head over to current price and I can set the font color. I can set the font weight, change the font size. And what I can also do then is the strike through price. Maybe what we're going to do, well, that price is no longer relevant, so we'll make it black. So the relevant price is in red to highlight the fact that there is a saving. So it really is that easy to set up your related products. And if I wanted to change the view buttons, I can come in once again, change the background color, and for main buttons, which will be the buttons in the grid view we have, and once again I can change even the hover typography. So when I hover, you can see that I get that effect where the button goes a bit bigger, creating a little bit of an animation border. As you can see, you can change whatever you want to customize your related products layout. In this case, we'll just go with a standard button layout. There you have it, very subtle shadow. So that's how easy it is to work on the related products. It's just as easy to work on the tab content, and it's just as easy to work on your product layouts. And in fact, I can go one step further. If I don't want the product title there, I can move it outside the column and create its own space. And then simply under the various font options under typography, I might center that in the center of the page like that. So there's really no limit to what you can achieve in terms of your product layout. So it really is that simple. So another good reason to get the additional plugin is that you have full control over the layout of your product. We'll now take a look at the account section of the website for the customer experience. So to do that, we're just going to update the menu so that we can actually see those links in our menu. So we can just head over to appearance, we can get over to menus, and I'm going to add a new menu and we'll just call that shop. And inside that shop, we will add the shop pages for the customer. So let's have a look at things like cart, checkout, and my account. We add that to menu and we'll leave it like that. And I hit save. And now if I want to add that menu into Oxygen, into my template, very easily, head over to Oxygen, head over to templates, head over to main, and edit with Oxygen. And I'm going to show you now just how easy it is to include that menu in your template, and another good reason why Oxygen makes so much good sense. So with Oxygen loaded, I head over to the header and I see that in my structure panel that I have a header row here. Maybe I want to move that above the menu, and I think I'm going to add the menu in this top header row. So we simply head over to WordPress, we go to menu, and with the menu loaded, I can simply go to the drop down, select shop. The shop menu is loaded, and maybe what I want to do now is move that across at the top of the page and maybe put that in the far right hand corner there. So there we have my menu, my account, checkout, and cart. I'm not going to style that any further. We'll hit save. We'll head back to admin. And now if I head over to the front of the website, you'll see that that menu item appears. There we go. And if I go to my account, the default setting from WordPress from the WooCommerce installation, and maybe I'm not so happy with this layout. So maybe I want to edit that. So quite easy. I can head over to Oxygen, and I'm just going to say, we don't want to edit the page template. We want to edit that page with Oxygen. So I'm going to go to Edit Page. And when Edit Page opens, you'll see that I have an option on that page which says Edit with Oxygen. So what I'll do is I'll just make a copy of that shortcode. And now I'm going to edit with Oxygen. The moment I do that, whatever I do in Oxygen now will override whatever content there was on that page. With Oxygen loaded, we add a section. We head over to the WooCommerce options and we just scroll down a little bit here until we get to the My Account. I select My Account and you'll see now that it's slightly different because we have this nicely formatted tab section down the left hand side, and across the right hand side I have the information. But once again, I can move in here and the menu float I can move to the left, or I can move to the right, or I can select none. So in this case we'll select left, and there are a whole lot of other options here that I can choose, and as I choose them I'll simply see what effect that has on the menu items on the right hand side. So this does give you a lot more options when it comes to what you can see in your page. So let's just go back to the default setting. Then you can format your menu links. So once again here you can change the border color. There you have the different border colors. You can look at the typography, hover link, active link. In this case, maybe what you want to do with the border color for an active link is change it to blue. So now you'll see that we have the blue. But once again, you have complete control over the layout of your customer account page. So let's just save that. And if we head over to the front end of the website, and we have a look here at the My Account page, and you'll see that there we have dashboard. If I select orders now, you'll see that the blue active menu now moves down to the borders. Then I have downloads. So you can see how nice and easily this now works with your WooCommerce integration. And what's also nice now is that I can, for example, add my own title. So I can head over to section and I can add a title. Let's go to heading and simply double click that, insert, change that to the post title, which is the page title, and that will automatically then inherit whatever name I give to the My Account section. So if I change that in the backend or in the admin area of WordPress, it'll automatically be updated on this page as well. So this allows you then to style your My Account page any way that you want. For example, maybe what I want to do is wrap this item in a div. So simply click on that little menu there, wrap with a div. I might then give it a size and spacing maybe of 15 pixels all round. And then what I might do is head over to effects and give it a box shadow and just quickly maybe do something like this. And there I've created just enhanced my menu a little bit. And then once again, once I'm inside the menu items, I can do make some other changes. So if I want to, I can make the text a little bit bigger if I want that. If I so desire, we can look at the menu links again. We can look at the typography here. Maybe I want to make those a little bit bigger. So quite easy to make them a little bit bigger. you'll see that I can change the hover link. So maybe when I hover the background, it's going to get a slightly light red appearance. So quite easy to do that. And an active link, maybe what I'm going to do with an active link is change that background color to, let's make it to a darker red, and then make that text color white. So there, very quickly now I've changed that. So as you can see, it's really quite easy to update and change the layout to the way that you want with minimal time involved. The hover link, maybe what I'm going to do is change the hover color here to white. So you'll see that as I hover over the text, now it changes to white. If I'm not happy with white, maybe I want black. There we have the hover color to black, and when I'm on a tab, it changes to look like that. So if I now refresh my account section, I'm on the downloads page, you'll see that the heading pops in and we have that section. You'll see that the width is not 100%, so very easy to fix. We head over to that div and we change that div width to 100%. Save. And now you'll see that very quickly and easily we've now corrected that, and the content is now 100% width. So it's really that easy to set up your My Account page and make it more interesting. So another good reason to use Oxygen, build a WooCommerce add-on on your website. Right, but that's not where it ends. That's just setting up some basic formatting and content. And of course, here on this page, I can add any one of these additional elements into this page. If I wanted to do that, I could head over to helpers. I could add a slider. I could add a gallery. I could even add a list of products. Maybe I have some products on sale. So I can quite easily head over here, add another section. So basic section, and then head over to WooCommerce and move down here to the product list. And I can add a product list straight into my admin page. So I can even have people shopping off their My Account page. And to do that, we would head in and say all items that are on sale. So on sale to true, on sale only true, and then we can stipulate the category that we would want to include in there. So if we head over to my shopping page and I want to see what which categories have something on sale, I can do that. So if we have a look here, beanie is on sale. I go in, I have a look, I see that that category is accessories. Head back in, go over to categories, head over to accessories, apply the parameter, and there we have the accessory products that are on sale listed. The user can literally come in and shop from this page, and just to make that more interesting, I can head over to primary and change the color of the sale badges, or I can also manage my style centrally. So I could then also head over to the settings, and now under global styles I have a WooCommerce option. Inside the WooCommerce option I can change, for example, I can come in now and change my button colors for WooCommerce. So very easily now I can set my buttons to the red. The primary, maybe I'll make that the same color. You'll see that these are the secondary call to action buttons. I can also come in and make those red quite easily. I can change the hover color here. So let's make that maybe something like that. Now these are globally applied. So wherever I have put in products and I haven't manually gone in and overridden those styles, the default styles will be used. And you can see how easy it is to do that simply from the WooCommerce options here. I can head over then to links perhaps, and a standard link is in blue, which doesn't really fit with our theme. So I'm going to make that red, and you'll see that the red is now applied. On the hover, maybe I'm going to go to black. So you'll see that as I hover, I can see what that's going to look like. So very quickly there, the text, let's leave the text at that color. Any notifications on the site, let's make that a different red. So we have red, the error, and then the message color, we're going to make it that blue. And then we have some miscellaneous settings here. So let's have a look at that sale badge color. And we definitely want it to be red. The star rating, we definitely going to go for something that's maybe more yellow. Star rating gray, those can remain the same. And the border image, let's make that really different. Let's make that purple. And the box background, if I wanted to, I could change that box background, but we're going to leave that at white. So there, very quickly, I've changed all the styles on my website. But coming back to this product list, I can head over to layout now and center, and there I've centered the items. And very quickly, I can come to the headings and I can change them to, well, there's no heading on this page. So let's just go back to links. And let's change that font size to 20. There you'll see that the links, which are the titles, are now changed to 20. I can head over to price. I can say current price. Once again, we want to go with red. And maybe we're going to bump up that size. We'll change the font weight. And then the regular price, the current price, the strike-through price, we're going to change that color to black because that's the color that no longer applies, and anything is red is really something to look at as a call to action. So there we have styled that. And very quickly on my account page, I've now not only added the customer's summary for their account, but I've also just included some sale prices, some sale products that they might want to have a look at while they're looking at their account page. Once again, I can style that page any way that I want. So just to show you another good reason is that you can style your account page any way that you want. You can literally change the background, add images, whatever you want to do on this page. You could even add a message. So on the My Account page, I could add another section. Let's add a section. And in that section, I might add a conditional message and say if the date is after, and let's make that date on, and then I add another action. Let's make that is after, and then I say the date is before, and let's make that 12/31/2020. And now I can add a message, and after that date has passed, that message will no longer be visible. So in here I might add some text and say maybe check out the specials. And once again, we can format and center that any way that we want. And let's save that. And now when I go and have a look on my page, you'll see that I have the details showing. And of course, I can include any marketing information that I want in that message. You'll also remember that we changed some of the layout styles for our website. So if we head back to the shop, let's do that by way of a product. You'll see that we changed some of the default styles. And if we scroll down now, you'll see that some of those styles, for example, the sale items now appear in red. They were blue. We overrode the default structure here for that particular border from the purple. On this particular case, we said related products must be the darker blue. But if I head over now to my accessories category, you will see that those default styles that we applied are now applied. So you'll see the purple outline and the red, the different add to cart hover button. This was gray, it's now red. And we can go in and further enhance that layout. So what we're going to do now is just go and have a look and see how we can style different categories in different ways. So if I wanted accessories to look very different to the rest of the website, that's easy enough to do. I can do that. I'm going to head over now back into Oxygen, and we're going to see how we create different styles for different categories. So back in Oxygen, we're going to add a new template, and we'll call that shop, and we'll call that archive accessories. And then we'll inherit the main header and footers. And now what we're going to do is we're going to head over to archive, and this time we're going to select taxonomies, and we're going to select accessories. So as you can see, as I start typing accessories, it tells me product category accessories. And for the post type, I'm just going to make sure that it is a product. And then I'm going to give that template a priority of 1 so that it overrides the default archive template when I'm in accessories. With that done, we publish, head over to Oxygen, and once in Oxygen loaded, we're now going to create a different layout for accessories. So we'll add a section, and just for the purposes of this demonstration, let's change the background. Let's give it a gradient. So we head into gradient, we add 2 colors. In this case, let's go for the blue. And the second color that we're going to add will be the lighter blue. So we have that kind of a gradient, and we can give that an angle. So we'll just make that at 45, so it's not that sharp. And then what we're going to do is we're going to head over to WooCommerce, and we're going to add the product list. So there we have the product list. Now, we said that we were going to do this for the category accessories. So what we'll also do now is in the shop, we're going to just change the background there because we can't see it against the blue. And we'll head over to the background. And there are 2 ways of doing this. We could either do it directly to that element, or I can just click on that little menu and wrap that item with a div. And then inside that div, we'll just give that a spacing all around of 15 pixels. And then we'll make sure that the background is white. And there we have the layout, for example, that we're going to use for accessories. Then we'll save. And here we have the accessories category. And now when I select accessories or refresh the accessories page, we should be seeing the accessories theme. So let me just save that again and head back to the admin section. The category, the template of 1 was applied to the default layout. So if I apply the 2 priority, that will now override the default template. Now when we refresh the page, you'll see that the blue applies. So that's how easy it is to apply a different layout to different sections on the website. And of course, because I can format the elements as I would with any other content formatting, we can format that even further. So with Oxygen loaded, I can head over to the shop, and for example, I could go to that background and maybe I'll just give it a gradient. So you can see there are all kinds of things that we can do here once again, and maybe when I'm in that shop section now, I might want to change the layout. So we'll center that, And if I wanted to, I could go over to the links and I could change the color then from the red. Maybe I'm going to make them black, and I'll give them a font weight of 600, and maybe we'll change the font size to 20. So a completely different look and feel to the standard layout. What I might also want to do then is under the heading is change it to 0 if I don't want that heading to be on the page, or maybe change it to 50, and maybe I want to center it, and maybe I want to change the font weight to something like that. So when I hit save now and I head back to my website and I refresh that page, you'll see that all the accessories now are styled in that way. And if I go into an accessory, you will see that the accessory item is displayed much the same as all the other products on the page. So what I can do now is even go in and format the accessory single product page so that accessories even appear different on a single product page. So to do that, what we do is we head back to Oxygen, and I'm going to go out of the category page, and then I'm going to create a new template. So we'll have a look at our templates, and I'm going to create a new template, and we'll call that shop accessories single, and we'll go singular and we'll say products. And then what we're also going to do here is only apply if taxonomized in the following way. Type accessories, we see product categories, accessories, and the template priority will change to 2 to override the default. Hit the publish button. And now when we edit with Oxygen, we'll be able to style all the products that are in the accessories when they appear in single product to have a specific look and feel. With Oxygen loaded, we're now going to style that single product page. We'll add a section. We'll then head over to our WooCommerce option and we'll select the product builder. We'll just leave it at the standard. And what we'll do is we'll just change the background color of the section. So let's make that the blue and let's give it a gradient. Or let's just make it a bit, yeah, maybe a little bit lighter. And then what we'll do is we'll head over to the product builder and we'll wrap that with a div, and then we'll just give that div a 15 pixel around the edges, and we'll change the background color to white. And there we just have a very basic product layout. We'll hit save. And now when we have a look at our beanie and we refresh the page, you'll see that the background has changed, and there we have our product. So another good reason to use the Oxygen WooCommerce plugin is that you really can style each product differently. You can style each category differently. But it doesn't stop there, because you can in fact go one step further when it comes to styling products. And if we have a look at what's available in the options, you'll see that if we're looking at if we, for example, was looking at, if we decided to look at single products and we wanted to change the styling even further, we can actually go in, have a look at we could look at accessory single, and we can even go further, and we've already selected products. We've set accessories only if they're taxonomized in the following way under accessories, but we could even go one step further and say that all products, all simple products, must be styled in this way. So not just the fact that it has the accessory, but it must be an accessory and it must be a simple product. So we'll reload the simple product on the page, and you'll see that, of course, that updated template still applies. And what would happen now if I changed that simple and I said that this should only apply to a variable product? So choose variable, update. And now when I refresh, you'll see that because this isn't a variable product, that theme doesn't apply. There you go. We're back to the default theme. If I head back to singular, and I don't choose any type of product, update, that would make sure that all the products within that accessory are styled the same way. Refresh, and you'll see that the alternative style is applied. So there you get an idea of just how easy it is then to style different types of product within the website. If you really want to stretch your styling skills even further, we can just have a look at something really different. So we're in the accessory single, we'll say edit with oxygen. And what this also allows you to do is to style your category pages and your single product pages, perhaps sometimes in a way that is not in line with a traditional product page, to just keep the customer a little bit more engaged. So let me just show you what you might want to do just to change that standard look and feel. Here we are on the single product page with the styling. What I'm going to do now in my structure is I'm going to add another section. I'm going to move that section to the top. Then I'm going to give that section a background. So we'll give it a background image. And let's make it this image, for example. And we'll make sure that it's on cover. And we'll say no repeat. So there we have the image at the top of the page in that section, and we'll just give that section a bit of padding so that it displays more of the image. And maybe what I'm going to do then is just head back to that background, and maybe I'm going to fix it. So we'll say that it's fixed, and that means that when I scroll, the image stays where it is. But now my product has shifted all the way down. So if I want to change that, I can head over into my section with the product. I'll select that div, and then what I'm going to do is under margin, change the margin, and what I'm also going to do to that div is give it a box shadow, and we'll just make that a shadow around that kind of color, and we'll apply that, undo the inset. So there you can see that we have a nice product on top of that image in the background. So that looks a little bit different, and maybe we'll have a look at that on the front end, and then I'll just show you what else you can do. So now that I have that image on that background, and I decide, you know what, I don't want to put that image, I actually want my product image to be in the background. So very easily I can head over to my background, advanced background, and I can now say data and simply select featured image. It'll be large, insert, and now the featured image, oh, I was in the wrong place there, so I've put it in the wrong place. So let me just go back to the section I did want to use. So head over to the background, choose data, and change it to the featured image. And now you'll see that we have the featured image there, and you'll be thinking, yeah, that's great, but I actually want the featured image to maybe roll down a bit further because it looks odd just stopping where it is. So what's nice with Oxygen is that if I want to extend that image into another div on the page, I can do that. And what I'm going to do is just head over to the section, go to advanced, go to background, and then I'm going to once again go to featured image, and we'll say large again, and I'm going to insert that, and you'll see that that image is actually there, but you can't see it so easily. Perhaps I'm going to show you with the other image, which will be a little bit better. Let me show you with, I'm going to go back to the static image, but the same principle would apply. Or maybe what I'm going to do is add another section in here actually. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make that 0. And then I'm going to make this section a lot bigger. And let's just make that 500. So this is really just for the demonstration. So I want to have the product image in the background, but now I've got 3 sections. So what happens when I add the product now to the second section? If I go back to my menu here and I go to background, I'm going to go back to data. I'm going to say featured image. I'm going to say large, and I'm going to say insert. And that will insert the image into that section. But what's happening now is if I head over to that div, and I'm just going to change that back to 0, you'll see that the same image starts in the same place. So I've got the hat, and then I've got the top of the hat again. So to get rid of that, I would go to my background, and I change that to fixed, and look at that. The images actually match up 100%. So that looks like it's one image in the background. However, it's actually stretched over 2 sections. What that would allow me to do, for example, is maybe in this section, I want to fade out the bottom of that product. So I'd head over to background. I'd then head over to gradient. I'd add 2 colors. I'd make them both white. So we've made that one white, and we're going to make the second one white. There we go, white. And then what I'm going to do is add a linear change, and now I'm just going to do that. So now you can see how the top of that image is still visible, and the bottom will actually fade out to white in that section. And what I can then do is, if I want to match up the color so that you don't have this difference, I can head over to the first image, head over to background, head over to gradient, add 2 colors. So we'll make them both white again. And then what I'm going to do is make the top one. And there you can see we have the perfect gradient from the top into the bottom, and it looks as though you have one image in the background, but you actually have the 2. So now what I can do is head back to my div, and maybe what I'll do is head over to this item and change, or leave that the same, and then change the div on this one, size and spacing, and then change the margin at the top to -400. And you'll see now that even though it goes over 2 sections, it looks as though it's a single background image. So let's save that. And there you'll see, because of my screen size, it's a little bit wider. But essentially, you get the idea that you can use a single image in more than one section. If you set the background to fixed, it automatically aligns itself because it's fixed to the background of the page size and not to the section. So just a little tip there. But you get the idea that you can change and style your layouts in any way that you want. Let's save that. In this video, we're going to have a look to see how you can bring in some of these elements into the modal menu that we created in the previous video for a dynamic content. So we're going to head back to admin, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go into our main menu, and I'm going to show you how you can include your products from WooCommerce into your menu. So in this case, we are editing the main menu, so we don't include the main in our template. This is the template for the main menu. We'll click on edit, and then I'll show you how you can include those elements in your menu. So Oxygen loaded, we're looking here more at the mobile menu. So we'll head down to the mobile view, and in a previous video we created this interactive mobile menu, and this is what's contained in that menu. So we'll head over to our structure. These elements are in a modal. So for example, here we have a product. Maybe what we're going to do now is we're going to add we're just going to duplicate that so we can add another div. And what I'm going to do in this case now is remove those elements, and I'm actually going to add a product from a category. So very easily select add, head over to WooCommerce, and I can say products list. And in this case, we are going to look at, product meta. No, we're going to add a product list. So let me just go back there to my product list. And in this case, we're just going to limit it to one item that we're going to pull through. So we have the default query, we have the layout, it will say center, and we're just going to say 1. And what we'll do in the product query is we'll head over to custom, and we're going to limit that to 1. And the category will keep on accessories, and then we're going to apply that parameter. So now you'll see that in my menu there I have one product, which is the beanie, which has pulled through into the page. So let's scroll up, let's go back, and let's just have a look at the layout. So the layout, we've said yes, we will do center aligned, and it's just going to be one column. And let's go and have a look at the heading. So at the moment, we'll just make sure that the font size is 0. And what we can do is we can remove that image. And what we'll also do then is just go to that div and give it a spacing of 15 pixels so that we've centered our shopping item in the middle. And you can add to cart, and we obviously don't want the pagination there, so let's head back to the product list. Let's go to pagination, and the pagination is added by default, but if I was to make the font size 0, then that would simply remove the pagination, although it's still there. And if I wanted to remove the formatting further, I can do that. Back to pagination, border radius 0, border color, we'll just make that white, and we'll just make current background also white. So if you're not going to be putting in any special functions or anything like that, you can just hide the item in the styling. So that's a little bit of cheating, but that's just what we're going to do now to show you just how easy it is to do it that way. And then we also have the results count. So once again, I can change that font size to 0. And then we have sorting select typography. We're going to change that to 0. And then I'm going to change the border to 0. Focus border to 0. And typography, I'm just going to change the color to white. Right, so there we've pretty much hidden all the elements pertaining to the product. You can also write a function to hide those elements as well. So that is another way of doing it, but I'm just showing you the other way of doing things. And we've centered that. And now we can save. And when we go and look at that now on the website, right click, inspect. And now when I look at my mobile menu, you'll see that I have that item. I then have the product which I can add to cart immediately. And then of course, I can scroll down and view the rest of the menu. So that's one way to add, very quickly add a single product into your menu. If you have something that's on sale or something you want to promote, you can do it that way. And what we can do in a similar way is even add a category. So let's duplicate that. But in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to remove that. And in that div, I'm going to head over to WooCommerce and I'm going to add let's call it a category list. So now we have a category list. I don't have any images for the category, so it's not going to look very good. And let's just give that, you'll see there are all the categories that I have. So I can do it that way, but maybe in my category list, I don't want the images. That's not going to be possible to hide from here. So we might have to have a look at a different way of listing, but let's say you had images for all your categories and you wanted to list them here, then we could do that. Let's just set the background here of white. There we have our categories, the image, and the number of products in each. Save. Let's have it to the front end. We're going to refresh. And then we're going to inspect. We'll head over to our menu, and now you'll see you've got your product. And then you would have the different categories in your website. So you could make your own commerce menu, and it would automatically pull the categories in with a teaser image, so your customers could quite easily access. And if you wanted to hide that image, the easiest way to do that would simply be to isolate the style sheet for that image, and then just to add a style for that particular item and change the display to none. And then you could have a list. That's one way to list the categories. Preferred with the image. So that is one way that you could build up your own, integrate your WooCommerce elements into your mobile menu. If you wanted to integrate them into the menu of your website, you could do that as well. Perhaps up here you would create a button. So let's just have a look here at the header row, maybe this button over here. Let's change that to activate a modal. So we would then add a modal element under helpers. And there we have modal. And inside this modal element, I'm just going to add a div. And I'm going to give that div spacing of 10, apply all. And then inside that, I'm going to head over to WooCommerce, and I'm going to do, could do any kind of product list. So maybe I want to do a categories list because it's a quick link to the categories on the website. So there we have our categories list. And then what I'm going to do is, I think we'll just leave it at standard. And what I'm going to do then is head over to that modal, which is here. And I'm just going to check out the modal style. So we're going to make the width, let's make it 90%. We'll select position. We'll look at content styles. I think we'll just say everything centered. I think that'll look the best. text color is fine. And then what we're going to do is look at the trigger. So the trigger will be user clicks on an element. So the user clicks on that element and this modal will open. And the last thing that we're going to do on the modal, and we'll go to borders and we'll just give the border radius of 5. We'll save. And now we'll just refresh so that we can go back to our desktop view. And now when I click on the button, let me take the link off the button. So we're on the button, let's get rid of the link to the Oxygen builder. And now when we refresh and we click again, that's not going to work. So let's just remove that. Let's add a button, add a basic button. There we go. And we'll call this products or categories, whatever you want to call it. And then what we'll do is we'll head back to the modal and we'll say trigger, choose, select that item, save. And now when we go back to our website, it will actually work. So we'll refresh, you'll see that we'll see the button. And now when I click, the modal loads, and there I have my categories in my modal window. And in the same way, we could add products. When I'm done, I can simply click and it goes away. I'm now going to add a few more elements. So let's just head back then to Oxygen. I'm here in my modal. So just to make it a bit more interesting, what I might want to do is I have my div, I have my categories. What I'm maybe going to do is just add a columns element, make that 2 columns. I'm going to move my categories into the first div, and then in the second div I'm going to bring in some products. So we'll head over to WooCommerce, we'll select a product list, and here we have the product query. And what I'm going to do is we'll center the layout and we'll make this a 2-column layout. And then in the query, I'm going to go over to custom and I'm going to say, let's just go to accessories again. So we'll bring in the accessories, we'll apply that parameter. So now what we're going to do is actually bring in a category listing into that layout. And what I'm going to do is, this is really just to show you, of course you can format and make it look a bit nicer. So what we'll do here is under heading, I'm just going to set that font size to 0. Let's just head over here and we've got our categories. Here we've got our products. Let's save that. And now I'm going to head back to the website. We'll refresh. And now when somebody clicks on that product logo, you'll see that I have all these elements loaded on the page. I can have my categories, I can have some products, so a nice quick link into different products. In that modal, let's just add a close button. So closing, let's just insert the close button. So there we have a button at the bottom of the page. Maybe we'll just move that to the top. So now we'll save that. We'll head over to the front end. We'll refresh. And just by way of demonstration, as soon as that page loads and I hit products, we can put a close button, there in the top right hand corner. We could also include one in the bottom right hand corner, but that'll just make it easy for customers maybe to have quick access to some accessories, and then to also be able to just have a look at some products right off the bat in this modal. If we're not happy with that layout, of course, we can move in here and under the layout, change that maybe to 3. And maybe what we'll do is change the width. So quite easily come in here and change that to 40. Give that 60, save. And now when we refresh, you'll see that we just have a slightly different layout on those elements. So that's one way to bring in your products, your categories, whatever you want to do into a menu element. So another good reason to get the Oxygen WooCommerce add-on plugin. Very difficult to do this if you don't have the plugin. Makes it so easy to include products in so many different places on your website. Something else that we might want to do, we might want to include something in our footer. So let's head down to the footer of the website. Let's close that. We'll head over to the footer. So here we have the footer of the website. And maybe what we want to do is include something in the footer. So let's add a section. And section, let's move that, not a section, let's just add a div, sorry. So let's go back to our footer and we'll add a div. And then what I'm going to do is move that div up, and I'm going to make the width 100%, and I'm going to give it a background of white. Just do it like that. And then inside that div, I'm going to head over to WooCommerce. I'm going to have a look at my product list. So here we have a product list, and in the layout we're going to make that 4, and the heading I'm going to just change that to 0, and then the product query we're going to say custom. I'm going to head back to categories, and I'm just going to go accessories again and scroll down and apply the parameters. And now what I'll do is I'll head over to the layout. We can change the inner column padding. So what we can do is change that to 10, and you'll see that that actually extends beyond the white block. So if you want to create something interesting, you can just make that a 0 and a 0. But what's really going to work for us is to wrap that element in a div. So very easy to do. We've got our product selected here. So we go into our footer. We have a div already, and we're just going to advanced size and spacing, and we give that 15 pixels all around, and we just change the border to 5. And there we have some products listed in the footer of our website. But we don't want 5 products, we just want the 4. So we can go over to the, not the layout, the query, and we'll say the limit is 4. And we'll apply that. And now we just have the 4 products. And if we want to, we can head back to Pagination, and once again we can just cheat a little bit and just make everything white. And we can also do the same for the results count. Change that to 0, and the default sorting will do the same thing. So layout, heading, sorting select, and we're just going to change the font size to 0. And then when it comes to the border, we're just going to change the border width to 0, apply those parameters. Right, and we'll also change the typography to, well, it's already on 0, so don't have to worry there really about the color. And now when we refresh our home page, and we head down to our footer, or this page, not the home page, and now you'll see that we have products listed in the footer of our website. Very quick and easy to do. The one way we did it now was to change it in the in the back end by making everything 0 or 1 to hide those elements, size-wise to 0, or borders to 0, or font colors to white. But of course, the other way to do it would be to select those elements, and in our style sheet, we could quite easily, so there we can see that there's an element there. So we can also come into the pagination element here and just display none. And of course, that will also then remove it from the page. Just be sure to link it to a class that you create for this div so it doesn't remove pagination everywhere on the website. But that's a very quick way to bring in some products into the footer of your website. So very easy there. We add it to the footer. Here we add it to a modal. Head back to Oxygen, the home page. And in a similar way, if you wanted to add a slider to your home page with products in, you can do that very easily. So we're just going to head out there. We'll head over to the home page of the website. We'll see that now that we don't have Oxygen open, we should see the Oxygen edit button. We edit with Oxygen. This will load Oxygen, so we can just edit the contents of this page. So with Oxygen loaded, we scroll down past that modal to the website, and what we're going to do now is add a section. And I think what I'm going to do is move that section to the top. And now in that section, I'm going to add a slider. So go over to helpers, head over to slider, and there we have the slider. So let's just open up that section. I'm going to head over to the first slide. I'm going to go add WooCommerce, and I'm going to go my product list, and I'm going to go to product query, go to custom. I'm going to take the limit to 4. We'll just leave it on accessories. And maybe we'll just say on sale only, true. Let's apply those parameters. And there you'll see we have the accessories in our slider. And once again, we can just leave it with those 4 items. So the limit is 4. If we wanted to change the columns, we could, but let's leave it like that. And in the second slide, I'm going to add another product list. And to just see, let's just have a look at categories. What other category we're going to add? So inside the categories here, yeah, let's add music. So head back over to Oxygen. We'll go to slide number 2, and I'm going to head over to products, and then under product query, I'll go to custom, and we'll limit to 4, and the category will be music, and apply the parameter. So music only has 2 items, but that's fine. We see it doesn't fit all the way across the page, so that's not a problem. We go to advanced, we go to size and spacing, and we just change that width then to 100% because there aren't enough products to force it. And then we have our second category, and in our last slide we can do something a little bit different. Maybe we can add a different content. So we could go add maybe 2 columns, and what we'll do is we'll add an image. So columns, we'll add an image in the first one. So image, just browse. We'll just grab any image. And over here, we'll add a title. heading. And we'll just do some basic formatting there, make it look a bit better. And now what we can do is go back to our slider, head over to styling, and we can say all slides to the same height, stretch all slides to the same height. Right, so we have the slider. We can change where the dots are. We can change the dot color, so let's make them red. Let's put them there so they're over the item. And let's just head back here and configuration. Yeah, we want to show the arrows, and let's put it on autoplay, and let's put it on infinite. And then we save. And now when we go to the front end of the website, you'll see that we're pulling through into the slider 2 different categories of product and a general content item. So that's how easy it is to pull the products into the slider anywhere in your website. We also have the products here in this pop-up, and if I scroll to the bottom of the page, you'll see that I have product in my footer. So just a few more reasons why it makes sense to get the WooCommerce plugin that integrates with Oxygen. It just makes your life so much easier when it comes to creating and formatting product pages. There we had our single product page using automatically putting the product through for anything in accessories. So, and you also saw on the hood, on the beanie page, where the beanie image continued from one section into another section. And it all looks like it was a single product. So that's actually 2 sections, but it looks like the one. So if we just have a look here, you'll see there's the first section, there's the second section, and you can't tell where that product started and ended. So that's a nice way if you have a big background and you need it to be continuous. And as I said, you can change the look and feel of your website to such an extent that your products don't look like traditional product pages. Right, well that wraps up a small introduction and a couple of reasons why you should get the WooCommerce plugin. I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you for watching.